Hi everybody, welcome to English 123. This is a short tutorial and introductory video to A Good Man is Hard to Find. We'll be focusing on this short story over the next several weeks, and we'll also read a variety of interpretations about this story. And the purpose of this video is to introduce you to the author and also to give you some questions to contemplate. All of you guys did a pre-write on what exactly this title might mean, and I think it's interesting. It almost seems like one of these romance novels. A good man is hard to find. Yes, some of us might agree to that. Once you start reading the story, I think some of our expectations are shattered, and what's really sort of hard to understand about this short story is really the ending, and so we're gonna be thinking about that together as a class. But before all of that, I wanted to also introduce you to a little bit of background information about Flannery O'Connor. Flannery O'Connor, she is considered a very important writer and shaper of Southern American literature, and as you can see, her life time was pretty short. She suffered from a lifelong situation called lupus. She lived in the East Coast, and she attended one of the East Coast liberal arts colleges. But I think what's most notable about her is that, in terms of her background at least, her Catholic beliefs really sort of permeated through much of her fictional work. And so Flannery O'Connor, this story called A Good Man is Hard to Find, is a very, I think, in many ways complicated story, even though the prose style is very straightforward, especially questions arise as to what exactly the meaning of the confrontation between the misfit and the grandmother might mean. And I think in some ways, this short story makes us question what we mean by good. Because as you read the story, you find that the grandmother exclaims, um, "You did this because you're a good man," and certainly she has her own understanding of what it means to be good, and the misfit will claim later that, "No, ma'am, I ain't a good man, but I ain't the worst in the world either. My daddy said I was a different breed of dog from my brothers and sisters. You know, daddy said, there's some that can live their whole life out without asking about it, and there's others has to know why it is, and this boy is one of the latters. He's going to be in everything." Well, it's an interesting insight into the misfit's background, and what his father said about him. um, the misfit, just by the very name, he doesn't belong, he doesn't fit with society. And one wonders whether the reason for that is because he needs to ask questions. He's not like some that can live their whole life out without asking about it. He's somebody who really wants to sort of know certain truths, and so they have this whole dialogue at the end. Um, Certainly, one of the many questions that you can have about this text is character motivation. Um, what seems to be motivating the misfit? What seems to be motivating the grandmother? And I think one kind of shift in tone that many critics have noted about this story is how just a seemingly very sort of familiar family vacation full of whining kids in the back, and the mom and dad kind of getting upset, like all of that suddenly shifts, almost as if it turns from a comedy into a horror story. And one question you might ask is the shift in tone justified by the story? And lastly, that very cryptic line, "She would have been a good woman if had been somebody there to shoot her every minute of her life." What might that mean? So this is some these are some questions for you to reflect on, and you can also use the questions at the end of this short story to help you get going with your paragraph response for a good man is hard to find. But I'm really excited to spend some time with this. I think there's a lot here in terms of theme and looking at certain details. Um, so that's it for this intro video on A Good Man is Hard to Find, and more to come as the week progresses. But so I'll be in touch with you again over video as well as over our announcement board.